Bring to the stage for you today, Janina and Tom. I love the dramatic pause when I introduced you. I was clapping like a mad fan.
I could hear it.
I knew it was very busy.
I'd like to say it was for dramatic pause, but it wasn't.
Welcome, guys, to Dragon Con. I know you're old hat at this. You've been here a couple of times before.
I am. I'm an old hack. Come on, give it to me.
So, Sleepy Hollow. I hear that's a fun show.
I've heard that too.
Cool. We have a fantastic mic right there starring in this panel all by its lonesome. I'd love to see some wonderful fans behind it asking questions. But until then, hey, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Please.
I love your hair. What are those colors?
Well, it's just a little...
Clear off, 5563. No, I'm kidding. There's a show called Dark Matter, and one of the cast members her character has hair similar to this.
No.
So I just came from her panel, and her hair was brown. I was like, she was like, stop.
How dare she?
I was like, ma'am, I needed you to come to set ready.
Yeah.
This is a working set.
Yes.
No, so that's what it was. Thank you very much for coming. So lovely. I see we have a question to start. What you got? They pop up from the ground.
I like
It's amazing.
it.
Well, they're trying to be respectful of the people behind.
Prairie dogs.
Prairie dogs.
Yeah. This question's for Tom. Last year, I asked you a question that became a kind of a big hit. I asked if anybody had ever referred to you as Super Hot Jesus.
First question.
You said you were going to text your mom, and I was wondering what her response was.
She was immensely proud. She could see it from birth. I was born in a barn.
And also, when they were growing up and just toasting things in the morning for breakfast, that his face would show up all the time.
And her name is Mary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great question.
Hello there.
Since you're like really big in America now, has like your British acting and your American acting like interfered at all? A lot.
Has my accent merged?
No, you're like
no,
when
again,
you're filming
I'll blame
it.
my mother. My mother would call me something very different to if I came home with an American accent.
Like, has your acting like in England and America like interfered at all, or is it different?
His careers are warring against each other.
Yeah. I've got English jobs and American jobs, and they
All out battle.
There's Bingley and Ichabod. Like,
I pay for that.
And
bingers. Lots of very confused faces.
No. Going really well.
they're just excited about all of your awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see how many bodies are in this room right now. It's a very new gig for me, and I'm just happy to see that there are this many people passionate about the show that I just lucky enough to have joined in the 4th season.
Job security, right? You got fans.
So they're not mine, but I mean, it's nice to see that they exist at all.
We're all fans.
Thank you so much. He makes me say that at least once a day.
So what can you tell us about all this exciting stuff on the Sleepy Hollow set?
Well, you guys know that this season takes place in Washington, D.C., yeah?
Yes.
Wait, raise your hand if that was new information. Oh, shit.
Spoilers, heard it here
It
first.
was really nice having you on the show.
I'm pretty sure that was okay.
Well, some people said yes, so...
Yeah, okay, good. And the cool thing to me is like, when I took my meetings in LA before I shipped out here to start working, I started asking like big broad strokes questions like, are you revamping the show? And it was like an unequivocal no. It was like, this is the show that we've been making, but we get to throw our beloved characters in a new environment while they're dealing with their grief. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard this phrase, when you're a writer, you chase your character up a tree, and then you just start throwing rocks at them. Have you ever heard that before? So that's basically what they've done. They're like, here's some shitty stuff. Hey, you just lost one of the loves of your life. Oh, hey, now we're gonna throw you in a new city. Deal with that, suckers! Like, that's what they got you. You know? So it's nice to watch. I don't know, I'm finding it interesting to watch your character go through a lot at the same time.
Up a tree?
You've never heard this term before? Oh. It's just like
you go up a tree and you throw rocks?
No. When you're... No, because happy characters are boring fast.
Right.
Right? So to create some drama, you throw you run your character up a tree.
And throw...
Chase them up a tree, and then that's boring. You can't keep them there, you start throwing rocks at them. Keep it interesting.
So that they're alert.
They've thrown some pretty big rocks at
Boulders. So, DC is yet another...
Rock.
For you and Jenny.
That's nice.
What's the next question?
They really do pop up.
I'm all right. I wanted to ask if you're still filming in Atlanta.
We are. We've been here for 3 weeks. We've done 2 episodes, and so yes, a lot of downtown Atlanta will double for DC, and then we're going up to a few days in DC so that we get to see the big things. It's really interesting actually talking to people when you try to shoot in Washington DC. There's so many rules and regulations that you have to go around. Apparently, in the Lincoln Memorial, if you film in there, you're not allowed more than, I think it's 4 personnel, that's including the cast. So you have 3 cast, you can then only have a cameraman and no one else.
So when we go, I'll be shooting him.
Yeah. And also, this is really interesting, and I have no idea why this is a rule. The actors aren't allowed to say dialogue in the Lincoln Memorial.
Weird.
You have to mime it, and then you add it on later.
Weirder.
How funny is that? Okay. If anyone has any ideas, please tell them.
So it's just going to be a lot of...
The acoustics.
Spoilers.
Where's a lip reader when you need them? Well, that question was kind of a trick question because yesterday we had a fantastic panel set up for you guys. And then on Thursday, I found out that you were still on set for yesterday, but you were coming and I was so excited.
Nobody told anybody that I was also going to be on set. I was kind of mad about that. Did any of you guys come?
Sorry.
Boo!
Well, I entertained everyone. It was great. It was fun.
Nice! How good was it, guys?
I was pulled off stage like 15 minutes of panel. They were like, she's on set too. And I was like,
That's really, I'm sorry, that really annoyed me.
it happened.
It happens all the time, especially at cons. People have to work and we have to make the shows that is the reason why we show up, right? But I found out 2 hours after the point, I was looking at Twitter and I was like, oh, no one told them. Great.
But that's the delicate balance that conventions have to take with fans, because fans are so excited about every amazing celebrity media guest that they're a fan of, but being at the show that they want the opportunity to meet and converse and hang out.
Gillian Anderson.
Sunday.
Shatner.
Or Tom Janina, whatever, same thing. So when you get those high-profile guests like yourselves, you're also working. That's what makes you guys so amazingly high-profile.
Well, it's lucky for us because we are shooting here. And in Conyers, by the way, where Stranger Things shoots. Tom just told me that.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Vampire
watching
Diaries,
Stranger
yeah.
Things and got very excited because they were all
Oh my god. I'm not taking my clothes off because of that.
She really likes
No, not at all.
But that is really cool. So I'm on my time off. I'm gonna like go. I'll just vamp while you're doing that. It's cool. It's fine. Cul-de-sac where they shop stranger things and check out what it looks like. You done?
It's very sweet that you're still here. I'm going to regret that.
Was there a second part?
I was also wondering, when did you start filming this season?
Oh yes, about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. So we've just finished the second episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Prairie Dogs of Australia.
This is actually for Janina, and actually Tom too, if you wanted to weigh in.
No, this one's for me. Thank you.
So you've done other genre programming, genre shows, True Blood and Vampire Diaries, and I was just wondering what kind of keeps drawing you back to sort of, this sort of funky, crazy, of
I
all the
have
stories.
so much to say about that. I'll try to keep it short. Part of me is like, I have no idea. But the real talk is like, genre shows celebrate strong women.
It's true.
Period. Next.
That was very strong. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Specifically, strong women of color. Also. Again, I can talk about it forever, but I won't. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tom, for coming back, and thank you, Janina, for
It's
coming
a
back.
pleasure.
Good to see you again. So the first, I have two questions. The first one is sort of joking, but not really. I work like a block from the National Mall, so when you guys come there, I'd love to take my lunch break.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have a sandwich.
My actual question is mostly for Tom. How much of a surprise to the cast was how last season kind of shook out? I mean, it took a lot of us, I think, off guard. Were you guys, did you know that was coming, or was
Did I know
the
that?
way everything ended with the big cast shakeups and everybody dying and just
No.
everything happening?
No, I didn't know until a couple of days before I got the script for the finale. I don't think Nicole found out until quite late either. It was something that had been discussed for a while, and there was lots of behind-the-scenes chatter. But no, when it actually happened, it came almost with the script, which is quite nice. It was quite nice to not have that hanging over us for a long period of time, so we could just carry on working as if it was going to carry on forever, and then really being able to shoot it without having let it all settle, so it was still all very much there and apparent and in the moment. Yeah, so we found out quite late. Deadly.
I know! Dang, man!
Well, to build on that, nobody truly dies in sci-fi. Everybody has, there are all these,
I think Abby has.
like dream sequences. I mean, like we can revisit people. I mean,
But also, genre shows are the shows that have the balls to kill people.
Yeah,
Right.
quite.
You know, like you should, if you work on a genre show, you should not feel safe.
ever.
You can die at any time. That's exciting, you know?
It makes it compelling.
My writing partner and I call it like a virus. Sometimes you want a show that's been going for a really long time to have a virus that just like clears the forest and lets it grow anew. You know, that's one. I don't like it. That's why I like these shows too. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, we have another question.
I don't have a question, but I do want to let you know, since I am from Conyers, I'm going to let you know about something.
Please tell me.
Secrets.
In
Bodies under
Old
the
Town
blanket.
Conyers, there is the original Beasley's Drugstore, and it has one of the last jerk bars in America.
Sorry?
It has a jerk bar where you go and get like a malt or a soda, root beer floats.
Is this in Old Town Conyers?
Like-
Old Town Conyers.
Okay.
So like a soda jerk place, where
Yeah.
you get like egg cream sodas and
Do they
that.
have like
Tom's
like
For Tom.
I'm sorry.
swirly straws? Like everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like you don't know what a swirly straw is?
Am I drunk?
Yes.
An old school 1950s soda shop.
Oh, why didn't you say that? Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Oh, that's very nice, in Conyers.
Yes, I am. I'm from Conyers. That's my hometown. Graduated from Rockdale High, 83.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Every time I go home, I always have to make a trip to Beasley's, and I'm just going to let you know that if you want a taste of Americana, that place has never even been.
Everyone on the bus, we're going for a taste. Bill's on Fox. That he had over 100 different variants on barbecue sauce. And I bet you're all pleased you came to this panel. My barbecue discoveries.
Everyone's gonna be hungry. You're gonna run out of here when let's eat. I love it. Next question? Nobody's got one? Oh, we can just take
Some
that.
faces out. Raise your hand if you've come to see us at our booth yet. Already. Well, that's not enough. So we're sitting next to each other, so you have no excuse. You can
You
come say
weren't
hi
there.
to both of us.
I went there, you weren't there.
Who wasn't?
You weren't there.
Were we taking photos?
At the table.
Yeah, maybe we were taking. We had a they cart us around. We're like parcels.
Gotcha.
They just put a little bow on us.
How dare you go to the restroom?
Please come visit.
Is there a question over there? Could we run a microphone over there?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering, this question's for Tom.
Hello.
Have you ever found a challenge playing Ichabod?
Has it ever been a challenge?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's been a huge challenge. It's, especially the first couple of years, they were very physical. They were long night shoots, running around woods, fighting monsters. And then you go home and try and learn 7 pages of expository dialogue about, and it's all dates and people I've not heard of. And then 3 hours sleep and back to it again. And it was really tough. That was not the sort of thing I'd done before. And then actually, we're now in our 4th year, and when it's finding ways to keep all the exposition fresh from an acting point of view, because of course Ichabod, he knows things that other characters don't, so he's the one who has to explain it to people. And trying to find ways of doing that without it becoming, oh, this is Ichabod doing his explaining history.
You have a
That's
little bit
been
of
a nice
luck this year, though. We have 2 other characters as well.
Terrific.
I think you're really going to like them. And one of them is like a history nerd. So, you're like, oh,
So he
great,
knows
you get
it.
to say this part. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You also know this.
Is he one of the 3 that gets to speak at the Lincoln Memorial? Or mine?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it.
So were you doing your mind? It's really good. And I'll do the voice over.
like ventriloquism.
What is the question? This is the best panel ever.
Hi, my question is for Tom.
Hello.
Hi, I was wondering if you thought there was perhaps more than just platonic love between Ichabod and Abby?
Or my name.
Go ahead.
Hands up who thought there was more than platonic? Really perfect. And hands up who didn't. Hands up who thought keep it on the straight and narrow. Okay.
Well,
More
hold
than
on.
I
When you
thought.
say keep it on the straight and narrow, do you prefer it's like, oh, it's there, but they're just not gonna do it?
I certainly think if it was there, that neither of them knew about it. I don't think it was ever on Ichabod's mind. Nicole and I discussed it very often, and we thought it was so unique to have a male and female character who weren't jumping into bed. And because, you know what, when it goes into something more sexual, I can't think of very many examples where it doesn't then, the woman becomes defined by the relationship. It always happens to the women a lot more than the men. And I think that's a great shame.
Immediately fails the Bechdel test.
Quite.
Immediately.
And I think that would have been a terrible shame if that had happened to Abby, who was always so very strong. So I'm quite pleased that it didn't, and I think we've got enough people writing fan fiction, utterly depraved people.
I've read some of your entries, okay?
Perhaps we could have a recital tomorrow.
I bet a lot of people would show for that.
That's interesting, actually. There are a lot more people than I thought who said they liked it staying platonic.
Yeah.
Platonic.
That's nice to see, actually.
The question's honestly for everyone at the table. Are there any type of supernatural creatures that have not been encountered on Sleepy Hollow that you personally would like to see?
Ooh.
What did you almost say?
Nope.
Say it. What'd you say? Say
It's too late, it's already gone.
Oh.
It's a politician. Anyway. Laugh.
I did. I used to regret it.
All
I
right.
love centaurs.
I read a great Reddit shower thought that said centaurs have 2 rib cages.
You broke him.
You're going to have to excuse me. 2 rib cages.
Okay.
What does everyone make of that?
We are in the South.
Who's come from the furthest? Who's come from the furthest? Who's come from the furthest today?
Wisconsin.
Connecticut. California.
Connecticut?
California? Ohio?
From where?
California.
California. Brazil! He was allowed on a plane. Well, she wins.
Next question? Follow that.
Hello. Hi, Tom.
Oh, hello again.
My question for you is, if you had control of Ichabod's journey, how would you write him? Where would he go?
From now? That's a very good question. I'm trying to think without giving too much away of what's...
Well, aside from traveling the United States eating local cuisine,
He should get into politics. He should get into... He should be sitting at a table with Trump.
That's definitely not who I was going to say for the supernatural character.
No, of course. It was one of the things when I first met Len Wiseman and Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orsi way at the beginning. The one thing that they loved about the show, and it was a big selling point for me, was that you can have someone who created the country come and have a look 200 years later and see how it's doing, where it's going right and where it's not going right. And I'd really like to see more of that, particularly in this very, very peculiar time. Yeah, I think it's such a unique gift to have a character who you can describe all of that through. And we've done it quite often. And I'd like to dig into that a bit more.
The last play Tom did was like that.
Oh yeah, a play I did. It was
the setup.
A long time ago. Thanks.
I do. It sounded like an incredible experience.
A play in the West End called Posh, and it was about a group of very, very privileged, entitled Oxford University students. It was a fictional drinking society, but based, for legal reasons, very loosely on a real drinking club called the Bullingdon Club, who they used to get absolutely shit-faced and smash a place up, and when the proprietor would come and say, "What are you doing?" they'd hand over a wad of cash and say, "Deal with it." Disgusting. And up until recently, Prime Minister David Cameron was a member, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer was a member. Boris Johnson, who is the Mayor of London and is now the Foreign Secretary, was a member. Really awful people, and this play was put on in the run-up to the election to try and stop people voting, and it didn't. The power of theatre, loves. And it really, after that, there were lots of plays that I was offered that it was such a powerful piece, and that resulted in people who didn't arrive together, there were the expensive seats and the cheap seats, leaving, arguing about the play. And I think if you can do anything that can get conversation started, do it. Go for that.
Yes.
And the play was very funny. It was a romp, but underneath it was just really cutting. And I think those are when Sleepy Hollow has been at its best. Right. It was more prevalent in the first season, where on the face of it, it's a romp. It's a guy who's woken up after 200 years and Headless Horseman, and then suddenly there'll be a scene which just cuts straight to the heart of something very real and important now. And that's when the show, and also that's, as you were saying, with genre shows, that's what genre can do really well, because it doesn't have to force it down your throats. It can be behind a really nice veil of sci-fi.
Right. Oh, and my favorite show of all time is Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
And they did it perfectly, They did it so perfectly.
Yeah, quite. So, what was the question?
Sorry.
And then if you guys are right, think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Politics.
Politics and barbecue.
Sounds like a good idea.
I want to say that I really love the show, first of all. That's my preface to this question. This has been a point of contention between me and my boyfriend since the show started. Towards the end of season 1, the Headless Horseman gets a machine gun, and you don't get anything that's like that. How did you feel about that when you're doing the scenes with that?
The Headless Horseman with a machine gun?
Yeah, he had a machine gun.
Yeah, I think in the pilot he had a shotgun, yeah.
And you're like, hey, I got nothing. I got to fight with it.
Yeah.
Was there one laying around that he should have had?
All of a sudden, he's picking up machine guns and you're like,
he knows how to search those out.
It's the Headless Horseman. I mean, he comes from the same time as you did. How would he know to do that?
Oh, there's the rub of it. How would the Headless Horseman know how to use a machine gun?
He's a demon! They learn these things!
There was a guy in the ground for 200 years and came up. He was in a spell by his witch wife, who worked in a coven that helped George Washington fight the war against evil. And you've got a problem with it. I think it was with the horseman with the gun. That was I think it was more just. It was such a striking image, and that was one that Len Wiseman from the very beginning he showed me in my audition his drawings and his ideas. And there was just like a headless horseman with the cartridges around there and a shotgun. And it's very Len. I love it.
makes sense.
You know, and to make it looked iconic. I'm sorry?
If you thought of that from the beginning, but, you know, watching it and be like, how did that come, like, where did that come from?
I've had many of those. Many thought that many a time.
It got much better.
Thank you.
Hi, I love the show. I'm really looking forward to this new season. And I'm wondering if you remember what your favorite subject in school was, and if you had a teacher or professor that stands out that helps to guide you into a mentor.
Yeah, there have been several. I think when I was at school about 14, 15, I had an English teacher called Mrs. Gillingham, Pamela Gillingham, and she taught us, we read Macbeth, and it was the first time that I'd come across Shakespeare. And back then, the idea of being an actor, I mean, it just wasn't in my head. And she spoke us through Shakespeare, and I'd seen Romeo and Juliet, and I fell asleep. And I'd seen a play called The Duchess of Malfi, which is a great play, but if I didn't fall asleep, I desperately wanted to. And, you know, I think it's really dangerous when Shakespeare and his contemporaries are done badly, because I had no interest in it at all. And then Mrs. Gillingham was about 15, GCSE English, spoke us through Macbeth, and like suddenly it opened up, and suddenly it wasn't 500 years old. It was when you know the rules of it and how to look at it, it's just absolute magic. And of course, you know, I was 15, it wasn't cool to like it. So I kind of kept quiet at the back and trying to be cool. But actually I was going, oh my God, this is incredible. And would go home and read it on my own without
Secret Shakespeare.
And yeah, she changed the direction. And then I went to a different school when I was a year later, and I had a teacher called Jacqueline Thomas, who was also in English 16. I'd not really read books for fun. You read books because you had to at school. And I was like, I don't want to read books, I don't know what. And she started just saying, I think you'd really like this book. And it just opened my eyes to how important it is. And I remember actually there was a moment when she was saying, so, you know, books, what's your problem with books? And I said, well, you know, I don't believe that it can really make you feel something. I was such a little shitbag. And she said, I said as an example, I bet there's no book that I would read and feel sick. And, you know, there are books
She gave you goosebumps.
And there are books that might make you laugh and books that might sadden you, but I bet a book can't make me feel sick. And she gave me American Psycho, which is...
How old were you?
I was 16. And, I mean, that's a phenomenal book. I'm a big fan of that book. And it was the first time that it just made me feel something that I didn't believe books could. So yes, she changed. 2 English teachers.
Janina, did you have any mentors?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. Mine were music teachers, actually. Yeah. I didn't know I wanted to be an actor until very late in high school.
Which was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And I'm just an instant success. And, but there were 2 teachers. One was my private piano teacher, Linda Cramper, who ended up being a criminal psychologist or something. I mean, it was just like her sort of day job on the side, but she inspired me to play pieces the way that I wanted to play them, and make them my own. And then Mr. Bray, who was my normal public school band director, who let me choose any instrument I wanted to play. Yeah, seriously. And I was in 4th grade, and I had already been studying piano, so I had like really good ear training from Mrs. Cramper. and I took one of the Scantron tests, and I got like a 98 out of 100, and whatever. He was like, okay, you get to play whatever you want. And I was like, great, I want to play cymbals. He was like, well, that's not a thing. But since you already play piano, here's the glockenspiel. And I was like, I mean, all right. And so I also was a shitbag. And then I had sort of a very short learning curve because I already understood a keyboard. Then I suddenly wanted a bigger instrument, so I lugged around this like concert bell set that was this big, and then my parents were very supportive and got me a smallish marimba. And then I wanted a bigger one, give me a bigger instrument. And I wanted to just like, I don't know, I also being a fucking try-hard like I am, I was like,
Try hard.
But you know, giving a little girl with a lot of like in her, I don't know what that is, venom or whatever. Give her some sticks. Let her bang on something. You know, let her communicate. Come on. Low-hanging fruit. No, but we have no fun on set. Okay, but really though, he allowed me to turn myself into whatever kind of musician I wanted to be, and I still am a percussionist, and that early arts education has completely made me who I am today. My last music video, I like produce and make my own music videos. If you think you know me from television, if you really want to know me, just go to my YouTube page. Yeah. My last music video had a 50-person drum corps in it.
Yeah.
Wait, who raise your hand if you know what drum corps is?
Girl, MCI was just a couple of weeks ago.
DCI?
DCI.
Yes, it was! That's the winning team.
Was that the one that slid down the ramp? Did you watch this year? This year there was this. Okay. Everyone just kidding.
Yeah, they incredible. One of the drum corps is like an unrequited love of my life. I never actually marched because I ended up going to the theater school for the first time then. Whatever, it's a long story. Anyway, Mr. Brave changed my life.
Did the two of you still connect with those people that were such great mentors for you, or did you
My
ever
piano
let them know?
teacher, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. I saw her at DCI. This is so freaking weird. Okay, so yeah, I was like there for DCI a few years ago, and I turned around, and there she was. I cried. It was very emotional. Big deal.
Thanks for making us cry. Next question.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
Hi, my name is Karen. It's nice to meet you. I just wanted to tell you sincerely from the bottom of my heart how grateful I am to you for giving us your talent and sharing that with us, because I thoroughly enjoy Sleepy Hollow. It's like an awesome show that my husband and I share together. True Blood was, woohoo! That was our thing. We could not stop watching it. We bought merchandise and everything. It was crazy. So, but we wouldn't have that experience and be able to share that and have that pleasure if it weren't for the commitment that you make and the constant that you give to us all the time. And I just want to say thank you so much for that.
We are two of many people. It takes many, many, many people to make a TV show. We are only two of them. We get to represent them, so we thank you on behalf of them. Yeah.
She's allowed to leave feedback on the app also. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, dude!
The winner of next year's free membership badge. Thank you, that's so sweet. Next question.
Hello again.
My apologies for being sort of a Debbie Downer, but obviously nothing can last forever. Do y'all ever talk about how you see the end of the road?
I just got here, so tell me.
If it were up to me, it would go on forever, but you just can't do that.
No. Nicole and I spoke about it, about how we'd like, the end going down in a blaze of glory. I'm trying to think whether I've discussed it with the writers. I think I discussed it with Damien Kindler, who was with us for the first 3 seasons. And we were talking about how many different heroic deaths Ichabod could have.
So you want to kill him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it has to. And then I said, wouldn't it just be funny if it was just a really pathetic death?
Like hit by cars and then...
He just choked on something. But I'd like it to be very, very long death scene. I'd like an entire episode. A death scene. Much like, listen, when John Noble did his death scene, I had to cut that. And that was just in makeup. But I'd like a really long, drawn-out one. Really. Thank you for the question. Did I answer it? Hello.
My question was for Tom. I was wondering if you ever had a moment on set that was more challenging than working with that crow that you said.
That crow. That crow. What season was that? 2?
I think that was season 2. I think it was when it was ferrying messages back and forth and.
Yes. That was one of my favourite moments. We had this crow that was delivering a message.
What if it had 3 eyes and suddenly it was like a crossover? Like there was like we never said anything when it was like Game of Thrones crossover episode. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, the crow was bringing a message from Katrina, I think, and she came and sat on a windowsill, and the crow had to come on, sit on a windowsill, had a little message, and it popped the little message in my hand for me to read. It was a letter from Katrina. And we were there for hours with this crow, who, what I had to do, because crows are really smart, was give it a little bit of corn or something, and some barbecue. And then it would drop the message and then pick up a little bit of barbecued meat from next to it. And instead, the crow would put the message down, grab the food, and grab the message back. And it went on for hours. And then it started to just... Actually, I don't even want to give the message to begin with.
I'm not even hungry.
Do it and then fly around and then peck at me. And there was this really nice guy who was the crow wrangler. You've got to have that on a business card. And he was sitting behind the window with a little bit of string to make sure that the crow, whose name was Shaft, didn't fly away. And one of the happiest moments of my life was after Shaft mucked it up again, and all I heard from outside the window was, "God damn it, Shaft, you're being an idiot!" And that's how you train crows. That was a fun challenge.
To bridge on what you were saying about the Game of Thrones crossover.
Yes, I like this idea.
Yeah. But as everyone knows, if you're fans of it, that there is that countdown. We have been told how many episodes are left and when the show is over. Would you want to know that? Like how many episodes are left in the life of the show?
Yes, I think that will be a real positive with the writers.
Sure.
Yeah.
because then they know the story they want to tell, and now they know exactly how and they've got it, so they can trim away any of the fat that might be there and just get to the bare bones. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I was just curious what you thought as actors, if you liked knowing when.
I definitely do.
Good thinking. Go do more fun things.
Well, no, not. It's really just about
telling the story.
Telling the story the best way possible. People are like, oh, they're writing, and then they're like, okay, you have no idea what it's like to deal with network notes. How about put yourself in their shoes for a second? You have a job, and you're told that you have 13 episodes, and then you've plotted out your entire season. At this point, this is the apex of the season, and then it's like mathematically choosing the adventure, or like forming an adventure. And then suddenly, in the middle of it, or 2/3 of the way through, you're told you have, oh, we'd like to tack on 5 more episodes. Congratulations! It's like, what the fuck? We just spent this.
There's a chap called Brian, and he came up to me and said, Tom, no swearing.
Oh, I thought he was joking.
Yes, I think you've made that very clear.
I figured they invited me, they know what they were getting. But anyway, the point is, put yourself in that situation. You've spent so many months plotting out an adventure to be a certain way, and then suddenly you have to refigure it.
You have to take your finale and then find 5 hours
extra
before you get to it.
Yeah, it's not easy, and making a supernatural show is not easy, period. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna sit around and talk about our feelings. No, it's like, we gotta take down a monster all the time, and it's I'd like to know.
Right.
I'd love it.
All right, let's get through these questions. We have about 10 minutes
We have about
left.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10
I
minutes.
said shoot this time.
This is a two-part question. It's about it's a two-part question. It's about the Halloween episode, the costumes. There's been some confusion online what Abby's costume was. Some people think she's Beyonce, and some people think that she's Daisy Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard. So I was wondering what was her costume?
Thoughts? Anyone?
Beyonce.
Let's hear it for Daisy Duke. Not whether you like Daisy Duke. And for Beyonce. It was Beyonce.
Maybe it was Beyonce, because that's legally probably not a thing we can do.
I see.
No, maybe we didn't get to say, yeah, we can do Beyonce. Maybe we have to do a version of her.
I've just got fired.
I was wondering, what costume would you like to see Ichabod wear next Halloween on the show?
What about those Daisy Dukes?
Daisy Duke. If you got the calves.
Are you gonna be Jesus?
Jesus in some Daisy Dukes.
Real sexy Jesus.
That's got the can of worms that I would do.
I'd go to that church. Next question.
One of my favorite moments from the show is when Ichabod is counseling the OnStar operator in the
Me too.
those little fish out of water drop-in scenes. My question for Janina is, what is it like to go from a show that's broadly comical like The League to something that's more serious drama that just has those little elements of humor sprinkled throughout?
Well, the big secret is that I don't really play them differently. I don't play comedy like it's, you see what we did there? No, it's not actually funny unless there are stakes, and actually the more stakes, the funnier it is, which is why Christopher Guest movies are amazing, because it's so important that they get into the community theater, if I don't, I'm gonna die. It's like, calm down, dude, it's community theater, it's hilarious in that way. So I don't really actually play it too differently. It's kind of a boring answer.
My hero and the reason I became an actor was Gene Wilder. And this week, my friend Mike Rail, who's our sound guy, he has a little iPad next to his sound deck, and we were watching clips, various Gene Wilder clips, and there's a brilliant one in Young Frankenstein, where he says to them, no matter what you hear from the room, no matter what noise I make, do not open the door, do not let me out. And then he goes in and the monster draws and he immediately wants to get out. And the look of, he's terrified, he's genuinely terrified. And that wouldn't work if it was, that style of comedy wouldn't work if it was Groucho Marx, right, banging on the door. It was because he was he was such a great actor, first, and the best, right. And was genuinely terrified, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Thank you.
How was it to work with Guillermo Navarro?
Guillermo Navarro, I loved him. Loved him. What a terrific man. Guillermo Navarro was, he had been a cinematographer, a director of photography for many, many years. He worked with Robert Rodriguez's early ones, so Desperado and From Dusk Till Dawn, and then more famously recently with Guillermo del Toro, and won the Oscar for Pan's Labyrinth. And quite a coup, we got him to direct one of the episodes last year. And what a fantastic man. He's also directed quite a few of Narcos on Netflix, which is great. It's a director who is so experienced in getting a look, and to have someone who just fits into the show so perfectly and gets it, that was a real treat. And he's an incredibly nice man as well. I was very fond of him.
It's great that you got to do that. Sounds awesome.
So Janina, any fabulous directors with an Oscar to prop up for the door? Maybe he's directed you in an episode of anything?
Alan frickin' Ball.
Oh, Alan Ball? Who's that?
Yeah, that was like, you're my new boss? Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So before we adjourn today, where are we going to be after this? Are you guys going back to Walk of Fame, or going to go grab some barbecue and say peace out?
Both. I'm going to be at the Walk of Fame.
The Walk of Fame?
Bring me barbecue.
Be careful what you ask for.
This is barbecue Pro. Here you go.
Goddamn shaft.
Well, on behalf of us here at DragonCon, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Tom and Janina, for joining us.